Good evening, everyone. Today I have the honor of speaking to Jim from ShipPlug. Jim, how are you doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, and we've spoken a few times, and we've spoken on Telegram, and you're in a fascinating space, something which fascinates me. You basically do what I do for suspensions and Amazon, you basically do with FedEx and UPS, the way I see it. So tell me a little bit about what ShipPlug does in negotiating rates and what value you can be to an Amazon seller.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ed. So I spent 13 years at FedEx in different positions. I had six different roles with them, negotiating pricing from $50,000 shipping a year up to $50 million a year. And the one thing that always stood out to me is it's incredibly difficult to understand the pricing because there's multiple complexities to it. So at ShipPlug, we built a solution to level the playing field. We take my expertise and others. We have over 100 years of carrier experience at ShipPlug, and we built a software solution that allows us to compare your UPS or FedEx pricing to hundreds of other companies. And we identify the weak points in your agreement to establish cost savings. And what we've done is we build the modeling to typically make it very easy for the consumer or the customer to give that information back to the carrier to request the discounts to achieve those savings. Our savings will typically average between 20 to 30% a year. So it's been significant impact to customers.
Right. So what makes it so hard? So I know from the past that it's very complicated reading a UPS invoice, and they're probably doing it on purpose. Is that correct?
Yeah. Let me just show you. I'll just share my screen briefly here with you. So, in my opinion, what makes it incredibly difficult to negotiate with UPS and FedEx is there's so many variables to the pricing. So I know I'm showing an eye chart here. It's kind of hard to see, but so here's just a few of the surcharges. So the additional handling surcharges in 2023 to 2024 went up by 19%. So that's one surcharge that they charge. And they have the rural delivery fees that went up by about 7%. The residential charge, which is big for the Amazon seller to a residence, went up by almost 8%. And then so that's one part of the business that prices increased. The other part is that they will change the price every year based on the service and also the weight break. So, I have 4 or 5 services listed on my screen from ground to express to smart post. You can see that based on the weight, you have a package like ground, some of the packages went up by 5.3%. Then I have overnight packages that went up by 7%. You have that variable, and then I'll throw one other variable in just to keep it short. But you have the variable of the minimum charge. So that's the minimum they'll charge you for any particular shipment. They all have different increases every single year. So you as the shipper, you're in an incredibly huge disadvantage because you're dealing with multiple rate changes every year, and it's very difficult to understand where you should land.
Now, one of the things everybody says, and that was fascinating, but one of the things everybody says is, I doubt you can save me on shipping because I already get the best rates. Do you know what the psychology is, why everybody thinks they have the best rate?
Well, Ed, when I was at FedEx, we trained and coached our sales team to tell every customer, "Hey, you have awesome rates." It would be an incredibly poor selling position from the carrier to tell you that, "Hey, your rates aren't great." And I do believe you, Ed. I tell customers all the time, everybody has good rates. Most who have good rates. Most who have good rates, we make your rates great because the difference between good to great is typically 20 to 30%. And when I worked at FedEx, I would always laugh. It wasn't a challenge to save UPS customers money or FedEx customers money. The challenge was just getting the meeting. It's the trust factor. Every client I see at ShipPlug is the same scenario. What I have a client that spends $150 million a year in shipping. I found them savings just as easy as I did the $50,000 shipper. So, if you think you have good rates, I'm sure you do, but I could almost guarantee I could find savings. It's really that complex that it's not hard for us to find savings in your agreement.
So if somebody is shipping, say, I don't know, $5 million a year worth of shipping, what are the chances, even if they negotiated, of them saving at least $1 by going through you? 100%?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'll give you a quick story, Ed. So we had a customer that recently told me that they negotiated 39 times in the past 3 years with the carrier. That they shared their agreement with me because we need that as part of our process. We looked at the agreement and it was the exact same pricing that was offered to literally hundreds of other clients. So it's interesting to me that they thought they had the best rates, but essentially they had the same discount structure as hundreds of others. So even at 5 million, yeah, 100%, we could save you at least $1. That'd be easy.
No, and everyone's saying that margins are so thin. So this is like almost low-hanging fruit because yeah, shipping is shipping. It's not like you get what you pay for because it's getting from point A to point B. You're paying for exactly the same thing, and you're just paying more if you pay more. So it's not like this is one of those cases where you don't get what you pay, where you're overpaying. You don't get what you pay for. So what is your typical process? So let's say I'm shipping $5 million a year. I'm an ASTTG, and I say, you know what, I could save some on shipping perhaps. What's the process? You want to show me a little bit how that works?
Yeah. I'll give you. Let me just share my screen briefly here. So we give you access to a dashboard if you're a ShipPlug customer. So we believe in total transparency. But say to start the process, you give me an invoice from UPS or FedEx. We have benchmarking technology built with hundreds and hundreds of data points. So let's just say you spend $5 million with FedEx. I could compare you to other $5 million shippers with FedEx. I could compare you to other $5 million shippers with UPS. And then we also look at UPS most recent pricing in the market for UPS as well as FedEx. You can see them over here on the left. And then what we do is some modeling. So I'm able to model your agreement in a bunch of different ways to find projected savings. So like this customer's invoice was previously $196,000. If I apply the discounts they should have that many others do that they do not, it shows a $30,000 savings. But before I meet with the client, I'm going to find what is the best solution to build a custom agreement. And then I'll come back to the customer and show you what the potential savings could be. So it's as simple as sending me an invoice, and then we're off to the races with some savings projections.
So this is fascinating. But when you say total savings, the what percentage of the time is that accurate? Like, does FedEx guarantee? I mean, it's up to FedEx, obviously, but what percentage of the times does FedEx actually give what you say they should give?
Yeah, so our target percentage is typically in the high 90% of us being accurate on our savings projection because again, we're building the model off of discounts that we're seeing approved in the marketplace. And we're also providing strong rationale because I know we have competition in our space. We're no different than anyone else or any other business. But what makes us different is when we give you the discount strategy to take to the carrier, we stand behind you to help you negotiate through that process and give you coaching and guidance of how to answer the questions, what to say, why are these discounts relevant and needed? And that makes the process much easier for the shipper to achieve these savings because that's a huge part of it, right? You could have the discounts you need, but you still need to convince the carrier to give them to you. And that's where we provide that business rationale to make it happen.
Right. So it's incredible, and I think probably a very low percentage of Amazon sellers are currently using a service like this. So I think it's well needed, and I think it's after I record this video, a lot of people I hope are going to be contacting you, and it's everyone is saying margins are low. So I think this would be a great way to increase those margins. Anything else you want to say in closing?
The last business problem we think we solve for customers is, and I'll keep it brief, but we believe, one of the complexities is to audit your invoices. So as a ShipPlug customer, we give you access to the dashboard. It's going to pull in all of your FedEx or UPS shipments, and I'll zoom in here real quick. It shows you all your FedEx and UPS shipments for the month in one spot. And then where we give total transparency is, say you clicked on ground, it'll show you all of the old and new costs that we negotiated for you. And I'll click and even get more granular. So we hide nothing here. So if we're charging you a percentage of savings, we have to prove it. So on the right side is the new invoices we pulled in from FedEx or UPS with the current discounts we help you negotiate. And then we rebuild out the old shipment costs on the old discounts you have. So essentially you get to see and track your savings is on the shipment level, on the monthly level, on the service level. And we keep track of that on an annual basis. And, even doing the same thing on the surcharges as well. So the invoice auditing we provide has been very popular because, again, how easy is it to see where your costs are going when you could just click a few buttons and you have access to all of your surcharges and all the fine details of where your money's going. And to us, that's a true differentiating factor. We're not showing the summary. We're showing the details of how we actually have done it.
Yeah, one last question. Do they ever go back to old invoices to update, or it's only present and future?
Yeah, no, great question, Ed. So we provide strong business rationale for anywhere we can help you save money, and that includes retroactive credits. If we feel the carrier totally missed the ball with a surcharge or a certain discount, we'll provide the customer with rationale to go back and retroactively get credits. It's up to the carrier to approve it, but we have had big success in doing that as well.
Okay, that was outstanding, and you're very knowledgeable, and I appreciate you coming on. And we'll put your contact information in the video below. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. It was great.
All right, bye.